guys. I'm Ty.
And I'm Max.
You guys are listening to the Wilderness Whiskey Roundtable.
Thank you guys for tuning in for another episode. This is 7?
Number 7, baby.
Number 7.
We're getting up there. Holy crap.
Yeah. Kind of crazy to think about. Sneaking up on double digits.
Yeah, that's wild.
We still have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, actually, we're actually, I feel like getting pretty proficient at our pregame show that we put on beforehand.
Yeah, we're putting our heads together and literally.
Yeah, it takes a lot for us to function this late at night when we're this old.
Yeah.
I mean,
But we got a pretty good list, and I think we got some cool stuff to talk about again, so.
Yeah. We're going to keep on giving you guys what you want or don't want, but we'll keep giving it.
It seems to be based on the feedback that people are still liking it. So I think that was kind of my thing, was I wanted to get past 5 and see if we were still keeping entertainment and engagement and everything like that. And it seems to be that we're doing just fine.
Yeah, I would agree. I think we're doing good. I think and if you think otherwise, like I said in prior episodes, let us know. We like to hear it. I know the last episode, the one thing I did notice audio-wise was I feel like I can hear the flame.
Yeah, there's a little
the flame of the heater. So I'm trying to figure out how to get that out of here. Just gonna have to soundproof the whole room.
Yeah, we might just have to put up egg cartons around the whole room. And but as we get warmer, that won't be a real thing, I don't think. I think that'll be, something that we won't have to run the heater, so hopefully there won't be much background noise.
It'd be cool to do one of these in the yard.
We could do a backyard podcast.
Around a fire.
Be pretty sweet. A little snap crackling of a fire, some nice dry firewood.
Just do a Saturday episode.
Be cool.
Just do hey, we're buzzing good. We're sitting around the campfire. Here's what we talk about. Welcome to Minnesota.
Welcome to the nightlife.
Nightlife on the round table.
Nightlife around the fire table.
Around fire table. What are we talking about today, buddy?
Well, dude, I was going to ask what the heck you've been up to, because our schedules have been a little bit different. We've been pulled in separate directions. Normally we work together every day, and I really haven't seen you for a week, so I was going to see what the hell was up.
No, it's actually starting to draw on me a little bit. I'm like, God damn it, it's not as easy to go to work anymore. It's not as fun to be there.
Aww.
I will say, I'm like, shit, douchebag ain't there. So. Not a whole lot, man. Last week I picked up some work with your cousin, actually, Mike.
Sure, yep.
Renovating that house over there in Waseca. So I enjoy doing that stuff, doing some tear outs, doing some demos, toured a couple bathrooms. Actually collected 3 ceiling fans from that house.
That's what you were saying, yeah.
Yeah. And so I've just been, as of Sunday, with the shitty weather we had, I decided I was going to pull the fan out of my dining room, and because of I'm just going to blame my daughter. She took all my energy away. So I didn't finish it.
Oh, God, sorry.
What are you doing?
Just trying to get my cord situated over here. I got some weird stuff going on. All right, now we're good.
So yeah, I have no light in my dining room.
Yeah.
And just a bracket that's hung there, and that's as far as I've gotten.
I noticed that when I came in that we were a little darker than usual.
Yeah. But... So yeah, I've got 2 more to install. One in my room, one in the little's room, and then out here in the garage. Actually, I'm going to replace this one and put the dining room one out here, because that one makes a shit ton of noise. So. Yeah,
do a little swapperooski.
Yeah, so a little home renovation, I guess you could call it. How about yourself, man? What have you been doing?
Honestly, just kind of slaving away.
Yeah.
Just chipping away for the Canada stuff, which we'll talk about a little bit later, but it's really just been a lot of time out there just getting stuff ready.
Golly, them Arnolds are slave drivers, I tell you.
Sweatshop. Actually, we had that back room cooking the other day. We had the big heater running, trying to keep epoxy from drying too fast, and had all the doors closed. And
Oh,
You
boy.
want to talk about a sweatshop?
So you're high and you're sweating your ass off. Oh, God.
Yeah. But no, it's just been a lot of time out there, man. It's been some long days and everything, and I'm hoping we're coming close to an end of the longer days, and I can kind of get back up to the meat market and kind of get that sense of normalcy back for a little while. But it's been good. We're chipping away, so.
That feels good, though. I mean, when you start checking those things off the list, too.
Yeah. It doesn't help that the weather was super fucking shitty over the last few days. It just kind of sucked the life out of you. But
Oh, my God. It's been horrible here. If you guys are from this area, you know. Well, I mean, shit, it was almost the whole state of Minnesota.
Oh, yeah. I mean, north of us got hit harder than we did, but it was weird.
A lot of rain, a lot of snow.
Yeah, the snow was super wet, super heavy. I mean, it was perfect snowball snow, but...
I wasn't really trying to throw snowballs.
No.
No.
I chucked a couple, but...
I could have just done without the snow. We needed the moisture, so I'm happy about that. But,
well, we're supposed to pick up a bunch more snow at the end of this week, too.
Why can't it just rain?
Snow Friday, and then I think like Sunday through Wednesday or something like that. It's going to be just kind of sleety rain stuff.
I could just do, at the very least, just don't snow over the weekend. So
Yeah, let me have my weekend.
Stuck in the house.
Yeah.
I mean, last weekend was nice. Sunday, I watched. Actually, both my brothers were here, and my wife was here, and we watched somewhere between 6 and 8 movies.
Oh, just a full movie
day. Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah. The daughter just
That's the
hung
best.
out and kind of.
Just binge watch whatever the heck you want to watch, and just keep her running.
We went through just about every genre too, I think. So
That's fun too.
Yeah.
That you're not just like beating the piss out of just like
No.
one series or one style of movie. You get your rom-com, you get your kid movie, you get your action, you get your horror, like just a little bit of everything.
I like intentionally open the curtain too, just to continuously remind myself, like, no, it's okay. You're on the couch
Yeah, it sucks out.
because there's nothing you can do
Yeah.
out there. So
You know,
it's good.
I wouldn't mind if it would just like piss rain for just 5 days straight and we'd just be done with it and just transition.
Yeah, it would be nice to. Well, you and I, shit, we got out fishing that one day 2 weeks ago now, and that was it.
Yeah, and it was early to be even doing that, but at the same time, like we just took 2 more steps backwards.
Yeah, because we're confused, so I can't imagine what the fish are doing.
Oh yeah, they gotta be confused. And I will say the place that we fished needs water.
Oh god,
We
yeah.
need moisture.
Yeah,
It's way
it was
down.
super down.
It's gonna be a big issue come this spring if we do not pick up a foot or 2 probably on that little pond reservoir area there. Because little context, it's a bay that has a drainage that runs under the road into another outlet area, and I mean that outlet under the road,
There's only what? There was like
Inches
maybe
of water.
Yeah, like 6 inches maybe.
It wasn't much. I could see my bait all the way down hitting the bottom of the cement.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like a big time traffic area and a big spawning spot. So if we don't pick that up, it's going to be kind of weird.
You know what else I think we should pick up?
My boat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Pick your head up out your ass, because we've talked about this 3 episodes in a row now. If you guys have been consistently listening, I need you guys to back me up on this one, because he just keeps like neglecting to go get his boat.
Put some pressure on.
Yeah. So make him feel bad about it. If you see him in public, give him a wedgie. Give him a swirly.
Swirly, dunk me in. No, we will actually probably have to pick it up here in the next like week or 2 because new boats are coming.
Ooh, yeah.
So we'll have to do some transition stuff. I don't know necessarily how much I'm going to pull off the old boat or if I'm just going to do different mounts and stuff like that. But we'll see. I mean, I still want it out there and in the shop with the other boat to see what we want to do.
So you're going to transfer your existing gear onto the new boat?
I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. I'm contemplating on just buying new cradle mounts for all the screens because the screens just click in, so you just have to get new power cables and cradles, and I wouldn't have to get new screens and have 2 sets of screens because that's kind of silly.
Yeah, that just seems like a lot.
My only thing is if I ever like come back and I want to fish down here, then I have to pull my screens off the boat, bring them back down with me.
Yeah, which
I
also
could see myself forgetting.
You almost have to like, you'd have to make like a checklist essentially, and like you go up there with a tote with all your screens and stuff in it. Okay, transfer it onto my boat. You're up there for however long. That tote sits somewhere, and on your list it says refill said tote.
Repack all of this stuff. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I still want to be able to like have them side by side and be able to like look at how I had this done and look at you know, I don't know. Obviously things are going to be different because we're running, you know, tiller style. I'm going to want more screens back by the tiller handle as opposed to on the bow and stuff like that. But it's still going to be nice to kind of be able to figure out how I want to do stuff. I don't know if I'm going to pull that trolling motor off there yet and put it on the new one, or if I'm just going to order another one, or I don't know what I'm going to do.
Well, you pull that trolling motor off the boat's no longer functional.
Yeah, I know.
Because we didn't fix the transom.
Right. And my thing is if I do that, I think I'm just going to commit to just sending that sucker on its way.
I mean,
that might hit marketplace.
As soon as you decide to take that thing off, because more than likely I'm going to help you do it, I'm going to help you send it down the road.
Yeah, and I don't really want to put it back on because that wasn't.
That's what I'm saying, is I'm not putting that goddamn thing back on.
Maybe I'll just order another one.
Maybe you should just upgrade boats.
I know, but so my thing is where I'm torn is like, obviously my guide boat up there is a walleye style boat.
Yeah.
We're also ripping off the casting platform just for safety reasons up there.
I was actually thinking about that today. You're not going to like that for down here.
No, I love the casting platform.
Mm-hmm. And so do I. I love fishing on that Skeeter boat.
Yeah. And, I mean, for bass fishing, it makes a ton of sense, you know, and for walleye fishing, I can get, you know, where you have just one single flat level on the entire boat, especially up there where it's rocky and it's safer. Mm-hmm. But at the same time up here, like, you know, when you're running your bow-mounted trolling motor right off the bow, off your foot pedal, and you can kind of control exactly where your bow is pointing and make more accurate casts and stuff like that, like when you're flipping a dock or something, like, it's so nice to have the platform.
I'm actually kind of surprised. That was something I get the safety aspect of it, but then, like, the guide aspect of it, you're almost hindering a little bit.
Yeah, but when you're fishing for walleyes, it's different because you don't need to be elevated. You're not, like, there is accuracy to your casts and stuff like that, but a lot of times you think, like, we might be trolling where your clients are never in the front of the boat anyways. Mm-hmm. Or, you know, if I have the live scope back by the tiller handle, I might have a guest fishing right next to me off the main floor of the boat, pitching out towards wherever the live scopes look. You know, so like,
sure, yeah.
You don't have as many people necessarily handcuffed to have to fish off the platform. Mm-hmm. So it's just a different style of fishing, and I think it'll work fine having one singular level, but when I bring it back down here and I do my bass fishing down here, I don't know if I'm going to like it. We're going to see if we can just make it removable and put it back in. I just don't know how they're made. Yeah, and I know we have a platform sitting behind us right now that just hasn't ever even seen it.
So I know you guys can't see what I just did, but I snapped my neck at about 300 miles an hour to directly behind us, where we fabricated a new casting platform base, essentially, for underneath some plywood that we fabricated in Max's boat that he's used not very many times since he's gotten it. And it's been sitting in my garage ever since.
Yeah. Well, I wanted something for more storage and stuff like that because a 16-foot Skeeter just doesn't have a ton of storage in it. Mm-hmm. So on paper, it was a great idea. The the handful of times I've had it out, it wasn't super necessary, so I just still have the old homemade wood framed in platform in there.
We spent like 3 days on that thing.
Yeah, and I spent a lot of money on that material too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was kind of dumb in hindsight.
Yeah.
And now it takes up space in my garage.
Yeah, but we're going to find a use for angle iron at some other point.
Are we taking it apart?
Maybe. I don't know. If we sell the boat.
I think we'll sell it with the boat and Dad's value.
Yeah, you can just take this. Just finish it up for us. Oh, man.
We talked about it last week a little bit. Bassmaster.
Yeah, speaking of the old bass fishing.
What was the turnout on that?
Old Justin Hamner. Put the hammer down.
Mm-hmm.
Got his first big W.
58.30 pounds.
Yeah, I don't remember what I said, but I think I was way off.
For what the weight was?
Yeah, especially because I thought it was a 4-day tournament and it was only a 3.
Sure.
That was kind of my bad.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, there weren't that many, like, quote-unquote big fish. Like, there weren't anything. There was nothing cracking double digits, obviously, because that was a 3-day total of 5 fish bags. You know, so, like, what do we say, 50-some pounds?
Yeah, 58.
58 divided by 15. That's not even a 3-pound average fish.
Yikes, these boys are struggling through it.
That's not right. That math ain't right.
58 divided by 15, 15, 30.
3.8.
Yeah. So under 4
Just
pound
under a 4 pound
fish.
fish, yeah. But this dude, well deserved. Because this dude, I can only imagine what, like, the tournament style life is.
Mm-hmm.
Always on the road, always chasing a check. You know, like, you are, like, you're taking a big risk, and there's a lot of responsibility. We've talked about it as far as the pressure that falls on us to supply and sustain our family.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like, you have this internal obligation that you have to be the provider,
Mm-hmm.
and you're doing this thing that's kind of risky.
Oh, 100%.
Kind of expensive.
It's not you're not talking a 9 to 5 guaranteed check.
No. And I get you have money coming in from sponsors and stuff like that. Like, you're not on the circuit without a sponsor that's kind of helping you pay for some of this stuff. But he was literally talking, like, he had guys coming up, just random guys in his hometown at the boat ramp, handing him $20, like, hoping that would help him just cover gas to get to the next tournament.
Whew.
You know what I mean? Like, that gives me goosebumps.
Yeah,
that's so much pressure. And, like, I can only imagine every night you sit down and you're like, man, like, do I throw in this towel chasing my dream to just, like, find something steady and consistent to go provide for my family?
Yeah, that could get into a pretty aggressive kind of argument, actually.
Yeah,
Like,
well, yeah, like, you have to have the right person in your life to be like, dude, like, we're fine. Like, I can hold the fort down while you're gone. We're financially okay.
Mm-hmm.
Go chase this.
Yeah, because shit, I mean, you're kind of risking it all at that point. I mean, if you're grabbing at straws at that point.
Yeah. And obviously, like, he's been a performer.
Right.
Like, he's never really, like, sealed the deal, and he finally got it done. But at the same time, you know, you almost got to go out and win one of those big checks once a year to just make it work. You know, like, you got to lock in a first place almost every year to just cover life.
Shit, are you covering life and still maintaining your lifestyle?
Well, right. And I, obviously, like I said, I don't know the behind the scenes from the sponsorship side of things, but yeah, like we said, like, I mean, they're traveling all over the frickin' place. Mm-hmm. Like, when you're talking a tournament every single weekend.
And that's wear and tear in a vehicle, wear and tear on tires, you know, like, you start adding that shit up, you're like, whoa.
Yeah. Not to mention a freak thing happens and you blow your lower unit out on your boat or something, you know, like.
Yeah, there's an
just
unforeseen
crazy shit
expense.
that happens too. You know, or even just, I don't know, you lose 10, 15 jigs in a tournament, and you're like, oh, God, you know, that adds up pretty fast. I don't know if they can just call up a sponsor and be like, hey, dude, like, I need more green pumpkin jigs or not. But at the same time, like, if you had to go to Bass Pro and just buy 20 of these to prepare for the next thing. Like,
Oof.
that sneaks up. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
you're a hurting unit at that point. Yikes. Yeah.
Especially if you come off a tournament, you lost that many jigs, and you didn't even catch a check.
Yeah, so now you're just purging money.
Right.
Plus the gas, your hotel, your eating. You gotta eat.
Well,
You're
right.
eating out the whole time, I would imagine. I mean, unless you're getting like an Airbnb.
Packing sandwiches. I don't know.
Or,
like,
yeah, I don't know. I don't know how that works.
Sustainable either.
That's something I don't know if I could do, is a life on the road like that, because I really enjoy cooking.
Yep.
And try and eat somewhat healthy.
Well, and you got to think too, like, most of these are 4-day tournaments. You know, pending you make it all the way through the cut lines and you fish all 4 days. But you have 3 to 5 days of pre-fishing prior to that. Now, say hypothetically you run a tournament every weekend. You leave one tournament, you go to the next place to pre-fish it.
Jeepers.
You know what I mean? Like, the season is 100% go, go, go.
If you're a bachelor, you're
Sick.
doing fine.
Yeah.
You're doing well.
Yeah, that's the life. But at the end of the day, you have family and kids, and that's a big weight on your shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
And this dude, like, he broke down. Like, this was huge. I mean, this just changed his life. You know, so sitting down watching that video of him, you know, crying and talking about how thankful he was and what a blessing it was to be able to finally kind of lock it in and solidify that, okay, I'm kind of doing this, like, this was the right move and this was the right call. It finally paid off. Man, that was cool.
Yeah, no, it's super exciting to see that in our field, just in general, like, just being outdoorsmen, like, because, like we kind of just covered, like, you can respect where that's all coming from, because you know what he sacrificed.
You know the pressure that he felt and kind of self-inflicted and all
100%.
that. Yeah.
Because you're chasing, at the end of the day, you're still chasing a dream.
Yeah.
And it's a job that is sustainable if you can sustain it. And you put in the work and you do the grind, but it's not easy to get there.
No, and the crazy thing is with it is no matter how much work you put in, there's 100 other people doing the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And there's just the variables that come into play of just like, this person fishes this way, and what happens if they're biting that way better than the way that I like to fish? You know, like, it's just, there's an inconsistency in there that you can't, no matter how much you prepare for it, it's nuts.
Yeah. He did a good job, though. I mean, it looks like, I'm just kind of browsing this article quick, and it sounds like he kind of was leading on day one.
Yeah.
Right
Yeah, he
off
came
the
out the
bat.
gates. So I'm pretty sure, if I remember right, he had a dream like 3 days before that he was going to win the Classic. And then it just happened.
That's wild.
Like, it was one of those things where he was like going through it, and he went to bed that night and had this dream that, like, hey, dude, it's going to work out. And then you go out and you win the biggest one.
That's crazy. It says, it looks like the first day he picked up a nice 6.05 pound bass.
I knew there were some big ones. I knew there wasn't anything, like I said, no double digits. I knew, like, the 5s and 6s were kind of the big ones that could make that jump.
It says here, I don't know who it is, but a Christie in there picked up a...
Jason,
that's
probably.
a total. Never mind. That was a total. My bad.
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
that was... It said 13.01. I thought that was one bass. That was her.
That would have been a big one, yeah.
I was like, holy shit.
I knew everybody was kind of chasing a 20-pound bag,
Mm-hmm.
and that would kind of keep you in the mix.
Yep.
And obviously, you know, we're looking at about a 19-pound average per day or something like that. A little more than that. So he almost put together 20 pounds in all 3 of the days, basically.
He was in your roster, wasn't he?
He was, yep. I will proudly say I hit 3 out of my 5.
You did okay.
I did pretty good.
What's your cash out?
So it runs through the entire year.
God.
I know.
Damn it.
It did jump me up like 17% though.
Really?
That's pretty big.
Okay.
It might have been even more than that because I think I was like low 40 or high 40s and I jumped up to like high 60s. So it was almost a 20% swing. So, that happens a couple more times. Maybe we're talking something at the end of the day.
Well, it sounds like this Hamner guy's got a lot to prove, so I'd definitely keep him in your roster.
Yeah, he might have a couple more. And I think I'm going to run him in a couple of the upcoming ones here, like close to this, because I think he's going to ride this wave and he's going to come out slinging.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think he's going to have that stick out. And
I don't need to be on a tournament or nothing, but it'd be really nice is if we could just go out on like a boat, like if somebody owned a boat or something, we could maybe cast a couple lines like into water, and then we reel up, and you actually like when you reel, you generally will have like a fish.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sounds kind of fun.
You'd like to do that?
Yeah.
Okay.
At some time.
Well, if anybody can help tie out here.
Yeah, because the guy who sits next to me.
His dying wish is he wants to go out on a boat for once.
Yeah, because, I was there to help him fix it and fabricate it.
We took the boat out, Ty.
Not fishing, we didn't.
Yes, you caught that big crappie that one time.
Not on that boat.
Yes, it was.
Not on the new boat.
I'm pretty sure.
I'm 100% positive it was your old boat, your duck boat.
The old boat.
It was the old boat.
Whatever. I think I took that boat out like twice last year.
I helped him fix it up. Helped him get the motor running, sort of.
Yeah, still don't run.
The transom is aft, so the motor doesn't really run that well. But I hooked everything else up with him.
Don't be telling people that because they might buy the boat off of here.
We have the transom plate.
Yeah.
You just have to install it. Yeah.
No, we'll get that situated from in the shop before we sell it.
I was gonna say you should have Andy help you out with that because if he's got a chair, well, I'll come out and help too. Yeah. Like I'm not afraid.
We'll pick it up with the skiddy or the cherry picker or something.
Yeah,
and we'll get it
that'd
off
be
there.
a lot easier than trying to do it here.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was our problem, is just doing it in the little garage here.
Even a 90 horse is pretty fucking heavy.
Yeah.
There ain't no just picking that off the transom.
No.
No, we'll get her fixed. She'll be running. I might as well just keep the thing.
Well, if we fix it, it's fine.
Yeah.
Maybe.
It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Worst case is we
lose the engine in the lake.
All right. On that note, moving on.
We were talking about it last week.
Yep,
Yeah.
Yesterweek.
I actually am filling out the old application. I've been looking at a handgun for a while. I'm looking at the Springfield XDM. What do you...
I'm biased. I'm particular.
Or I'm looking at the Smith & Wesson M2.0.
Okay. I'm a big SIG guy.
Really?
Yep. SIG Sauer.
What makes your SIG?
I don't know. I like how it feels.
Yeah.
Yeah. It fits nice. It was at that price point that made a lot of sense. I got the P365 XL. I don't know. You got to take into consideration too, like how you're going to carry
XL,
it.
Are you compensating?
No, XL. See, I got these little hands, but the XL fit better in my hands too.
Sure.
So I don't know. There's something with like the 15 round mag gives you like an extra 1.5 inches on the bottom too with the magazine overlap. So it fits the pinky better because if you just run the regular 12 round. Like my pinky would kind of like half fall off the bottom.
Sure.
I didn't really like that. I don't know. I think the regular is a great, it's a compact. It's a really good, if you're looking for a small concealed carry, it's a really, really good gun. But the 365 XL it fit really well for me. And I carry appendix style. So it fit there really well. And I think there's something that goes to say where you carry matters, especially on weapon choice. It's like if you're going to carry hip or if you're going to carry, behind your back or wherever you're going to choose, I think there's merit behind, finding a holster, feeling how it feels where you're going to carry it too, because that might influence what you choose.
Well, and there's holsters kind of specified to the way you're carrying it nowadays too.
Yep.
And actually, something I've been seeing a lot of is this specialized holster for the bigger boys who would prefer to carry it up front
On your appendix, yep.
on the appendix there, and you can't because you got that big old belly hanging
The belly,
over,
yeah.
and so it actually straps around you.
Oh, like a belly band holster style.
Yeah, but like right above, so you still have just a little shirt pull.
Sure.
And you're still accessing your gun quickly.
Yeah, you're not like up above your belly button.
No, it's still kind of underneath the belly button, but you're just right on top of the old fat pouch.
Sure, yeah.
And I'm not a small boy by any means, so I understand where these guys are coming from.
Well, and that's something too, like, you know, even for me, like when I sit down, I have to adjust. You almost have to like pull it out, because when you sit down, obviously, like everything kind of falls over your waistband. So it's like it is kind of uncomfortable. I think it's more concealed than carrying on your hip. Personally, I tried hip carry. I actually, for the longest time, I felt more comfortable drawing from the hip, but I felt like it took away from the conceal aspect of it. So I opted to get more comfortable with the appendix carry, and I do really, really like it. And honestly, regardless of what you wear, you almost can't really tell.
Yeah.
You know, you have to be looking for it.
And most people aren't.
Most people aren't. You know,
No.
I do, just because I carry, and I'm curious to see how other people carry, and if I can see if they carry, and if I, you know, like it's just something.
It's kind of like when you buy a new car.
Yeah, and all you do is you see that car driving
on the road. Yeah.
You never saw one before again before you bought it, and now you see them everywhere.
And all of a sudden they're everywhere.
Well, they existed before you bought it.
Right.
You just weren't looking.
You weren't looking, exactly. No, I'm kind of looking, and I said XDM. I actually meant XDS if I was going to go Springfield. Just because the XDM, I would like an XDM for more of just probably home protection and fun gun if I'm going to the shooting range, whatever.
Sure.
But the XDS is just a little more compact, and I've held this, and I actually got the picture up here.
Yeah, you got
that
that little
nice little pinky clip.
Yeah, it still looks short. Did it fit okay?
It fits really well, and I've got
some fucking bear claws.
Yeah. And same thing with the M2.0 in the Smith & Wesson. That fits my hand really well, and I've actually shot that one. I've never shot the XDS yet.
Sure. I should take you out and let you shoot the SIG.
I would like to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did go up to Shields yesterday and checked out what they had in stock and stuff, and they actually did have an M2.0 for, it was like $430. Which
that's not bad.
Nowadays, that seems pretty decent.
That's not bad at all.
I'm kicking myself in the ass because I've been saying I'm gonna buy a handgun for quite a few years now.
Yeah, and you got all this ammo stockpile.
Fuck you.
We've been giving Ty shit because he's got all his 9mm ammo, and he's just gonna
No gun to shoot it.
Throw it at somebody when
Yeah,
they break
yeah.
in.
God damn it. So, like, when I started actually, like, avidly looking for handguns, I actually picked out Springfield first. And I don't remember what series it would have been back then, but it was pretty similar to the XDM, XDS. Held it, looked at it, went to get my permit to purchase. And
Denied.
No, it was never
Ex-felon.
denied. I grabbed it, filled it out, and then I'm like, I just never made it back to turn it back in.
Oh, sure.
And I've done that twice now. So it's just a laziness thing, really.
Go just get it done.
I know.
With. It's the most comfortable thing when you, like, once you have it, and you hope you never need it, but you know you have it.
Well, the sad thing is it's like buying a bottle of frickin' liquor. It's not like the damn thing expires. So, like, if I had bought it when I originally said, okay, I'm going to go buy a gun now, and I just made other things a priority as far as, like, finances.
Yep.
Because at the time, $300 seemed like a lot of money. Well, now I'm looking at it and I'm like, well, now it's $600.
Right.
So
right.
it's doubled.
Yes, it almost doubled.
And it's pretty much the same gun.
Yeah.
If not the same gun.
Yeah. And, like, you know, I hear people always say, like, oh, I'm going to wait till I can find one used, or I'm going to wait until I find a good deal.
It just doesn't work.
And I'm sorry, but, like, what happens if it happens tomorrow?
Mm-hmm.
What if that bad event so happens tomorrow and you just weren't prepared because you drug your feet?
Right.
You're going to kick yourself for that for the rest of your life.
Especially having ammo for said gun.
Yeah, right. So,
What an idiot.
I would encourage everybody, especially like for me, when I got married, it was a really big eye opener of like, I have to protect somebody else now in this life. And like you with a kid.
Yeah, that's where I'm really, really starting to like, okay, I'm taking it more seriously now that it's not a want, it's a need, because if the day comes, I'm protecting my family.
Yeah. And then
any means necessary.
The unfortunate thing about it is there are just bad things that happen, and there's bad people in the world, and like with trafficking females and child trafficking and all that stuff being so prevalent nowadays, like it's terrifying. And I personally feel more comfortable having a little bit of reassurance on myself.
Oh yeah, me too.
So,
what are you doing personally for some home defense stuff?
Yeah, obviously, like I said, I carry a 365. Big fan of that. You know, I rarely leave the house without that. But at the same time, I think it's important to one, learn the skills to be able to defend yourself in the first place, and two, have the necessary equipment to do so. You know, so we've been kind of, you know, I don't like to call myself a prepper, but we do have stuff prepared for emergency situations. You know, I've been really trying to get my wife on board and more comfortable with firearms. You know, she hunts with me all the time, but some of the non-traditional hunting weapons, or whatever you want to call them, she's not necessarily fully comfortable with yet. So that's kind of something we're working on. We have a bullpup at home for a home defense shotgun, and I absolutely love it.
That thing is insane.
The thing is sweet. You know, I like having something shorter, something with a large magazine if you need it. Like I said, it's a precautionary thing.
That thing kicks like a frickin' mule, though.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Especially if you're dumping a magazine.
Oh my god, dude.
Those big 15-round banana clips, if you're emptying that thing, you're going to end up probably a couple steps back from where you started.
And your shoulder hurts in the morning. Yeah. That bruised me.
Oh, yeah.
When we shot it last fall or whatever it was.
Yeah.
That thing bruised me. But
now, I just had some cheap ammo in that. That probably wasn't even the best stuff to be shooting, but I also, for fun, I don't like shooting expensive home defense rounds or anything like that anyways. But I did stumble upon this cool new thing that I think would be a little bit more comfortable for somebody who's maybe uncomfortable with an actual firearm.
Live firearms.
Yeah. Or like if you were talking lethal versus non-lethal, I guess at the end of the day. This company called Byrna, Byrna, they call it less lethal, but they're non-lethal. They make full-size pistols that essentially shoot little spheres that are either rubber or pepper spray or tear gas style ammunition rounds. And it's something that still can incapacitate somebody in a state of emergency.
Sure.
But you don't have to, you know, have that kind of live ammunition side of things that would potentially make somebody feel uncomfortable.
And they actually have quite a few kind of round styles, don't they?
Yeah, they have the 3 different ones. They have just the plain, like, rubber style.
So kind of the rubber bullet version.
Yep. They have the just pepper spray version, which, you know, it buys you a little extra range as opposed to just having a pepper spray, basically.
So you shoot them with that and you grab the baseball bat.
Yeah, or you just get out of Dodge and you bolt.
I know, I'm kidding.
They claim that that's 10% stronger than most pepper sprays found on the market, plus you get up to like 50 to 60 feet of range.
Okay.
Which I don't think like your regular canister of pepper spray is getting that far. You know, that's more of a close quarter combat.
Right, not without having like the big police style like spray handle ones. I feel like you're not
your
getting
little
that.
spritzer, your little
your little purse one ain't taking nothing.
No. And then they make their Max version projectile. Max.
Hey,
you know,
that's your name, dude.
Sponsored. That actually has tear gas in it, which they claim will incapacitate a threat for up to 45 minutes. So,
That's plenty of time.
yeah, you can get out of Dodge pretty quick at that point. You know, my big thing, obviously, like, if, you know, God forbid somebody decided to break into my home, I have a lot of things that I want to get. I have animals. I have things like that. You know, my biggest fear is, like, is 45 minutes enough time to kind of round everything up and get out of there and, like, you know, contain the situation. That's always my biggest fear. That's my first thought is, like, you know, I want to resolve the situation in the least amount of damage possible, but also protect all of my assets. So that would be my biggest concern. You know, obviously, if somebody tried to come up and grab you on the street or snatch your purse or something, like, very, very feasible. You know, you're able to get away, distance yourself from the scenario, probably contact help, all of that stuff. So I think as a carry weapon, it would be amazing for somebody who wants to do a non-lethal option. Fully legal to carry in all 50 states.
Without a conceal and carry?
No permit needed, which is actually really, really neat. It falls kind of in the same regulation of like a pepper spray, basically.
So is that... No, correct me if I'm wrong. Like, there's certain tasers you can't even carry, correct?
Yeah. Some states have certain regulations behind that stuff. I think pepper spray kind of is universal within the 50 states.
Sure.
It's just a self-defense option that's available to anybody. But yeah,
no, it's kind of a big unit.
It is, you know.
As far as conceal and carry, you know, quote unquote, you're not concealing a gun,
right?
Like
but
your traditional gun, but
it is very comparable to a pistol.
Oh yeah, 100%.
They do claim that their SD version is a compact and their LE version is a mid-sized.
Sure.
In relation to like traditional live fire weapons. I would be curious to see like what your holster options are and things like that. You know, if you were to actually try to conceal it, or if it's just.
And that's a CO2
correct
based weapon.
Yep. So I just think it's kind of a neat option. You know, it might be something I'd look into just for my wife until she feels a little bit more comfortable with getting her permit.
Sure.
So I think that's a cool option, and I think it's something valuable to talk about as a family, as a couple, as, you know, you love someone and you never want to see them get hurt, and you would love to see them protected to the fullest capacity. That being said, it is important to be trained to handle those situations.
Yeah, be proficient in it. Don't just be blindly firing rounds off through your drywall either, because especially if you have a family, there's potential you could do more harm than good.
Yeah, well, that's the thing too. You know, like, yes, there's comfort to having these things, but there is a skill set that comes with it to make them equally as safe and not detrimental to said things that you're trying to protect.
Right. Like, and that's where a lot of this gun argument stuff kind of falls into play. It's like the people who generally own them know what they're doing with them, but there is the select few who buy a gun to have a gun and don't know what they're doing with a gun.
Yeah.
And that's where you just need to take the little bit of time it takes, and it's not much, because down here we all got gun safety training in like 7th grade.
Yeah.
And they did their due diligence on everything.
Yeah, and that being said too, like, if you are well distanced from that, retake your courses. Go through the proper education to, you know, reinstitute certain habits. Make sure you understand the general rules of weapons and live ammunition.
Go to a local range and ask for some help.
Yeah,
because most of the time they have an instructor or somebody who will help you on site.
Yes. And, you know, obviously I think we do a pretty good job, like when you go through your concealed carry permit, the training, it typically is sufficient. I would like to see maybe a little bit more detail in the fact of like, okay, you aren't just at the like elementary level of being able to draw and pull a trigger. Like, there should be some sort of, control standard, and, you can hit a target out to a certain, like, there should be standards to all of it. And I think all of that stuff's important just as far as keeping safety and everything like that alive. But it is something to talk about.
Mm-hmm. Something to look at, think about, if you're interested in it. Look into your area, because there's always conceal and carry classes. There's always things going around pretty much everywhere, especially in Minnesota here, and then other states too, just depending on what state you're in. Some of them are...
Yeah, what your laws and regulations are behind it. Obviously, it's important to still abide by your laws and regulations. You have to. At the same time, again, like, if you do have stricter laws or you're not comfortable, there are other options out there, and that's kind of what we wanted to address with this topic, was just it being safe and keeping your family safe is important.
Mm-hmm. And we're all about family here in the podcast.
Yeah, big family guys.
Big family guys. So let's just jump into the next segment here.
Yep.
Where you at, girl, on your Canada progress?
We are progressing pretty good, I think. I don't know. The days are going by so freaking fast. Like, it just feels like we're kind of on the crunch, but I feel like we're moving along pretty good. The shop is a freaking disaster right now. There is just so much stuff going on.
So that's part of the reason you've been just like straight up avoiding.
Just non-existent. Yeah. Bad friend, 100%.
I'd say.
Yeah. I will own it, because I have been so freaking tied up with all of that shit.
I've just been cooking dinner, waiting for him to show up, and he just never does.
In my defense, I told you can come out and help me, but you never come out and help me. So, like,
well, because I got the little all the time.
A friend in need.
I got the little all the time.
And you just leave him hanging, like.
Nobody's going to watch the little, so I won't even be helped.
Bring her out.
Who's going to watch her?
Put her in a little bouncer.
For 4 minutes.
Yeah. We can find a job for her. We'll put a paintbrush in her hand and just let her go to town.
Everything would be painted.
No, it's crazy. Like, we got the first trailer pulled out. I know we said that last week. We're about half full on the next one. We got the entire shed emptied, which is a breath of fresh air. Most of the stuff that we currently have is almost accounted for. It's at least all in the same area, and we're kind of inventorying it and everything. But now we're at the point where it's like, okay, we have this furniture that needs to be painted, and we have this that needs to be primed, and we have this that needs to be stained. There's like 15 different pieces of things that are in the shop right now that are different colors, different stages in the painting or staining process. It's a disaster, because stuff needs multiple coats. Some stuff can get by with one. There's just so much stuff going on. And then we got, guys building the furniture. We have guys building log furniture. We're building desks. We're building this. We're doing that. Like, it's just nuts.
How is that log furniture coming along?
It's coming along.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is it turning out pretty good?
Yeah. We have enough right now for 6 beds. Which isn't a fraction of what we're doing right now.
How are you doing that as far as transporting it? Are you taking it apart, labeling it?
Yeah, so headboards will be fully pieced together.
Sure.
The length of the bed will be separated, and then like the foot of the bed will be pieced together. So essentially we'll just have to come in with a rubber mallet and kind of tap the rest of everything together. And
are you labeling the pieces?
No.
Do you need to label the pieces?
I don't know, Ty.
Do certain ones fit with certain things?
No.
They all fit together?
Yeah,
you're positive of that?
Interchangeable, yeah.
Are you guesstimating, or are you sure?
No, I'm positive.
Because I'm just saying it now because I just thought of that. I'm like, oh shit, you're going to get up there and you're going to have piece A and B, and C and D is looking for C and D, and you got A and B.
Yeah, no. It should all go pretty well interchangeable.
There it was. That's what scares me. It should.
Whatever.
I would just, Maybe put it in your notes to just check and make sure.
Okay.
From a woodworking standpoint,
It's a valid argument.
it's a valid argument.
I'm like 99.9% sure.
Yikes.
But I will double check all of that. The big thing is we're gonna do 3 cabins this year is the plan.
To refinish.
Correct. Yep. It will be a small, a medium, and a large.
Okay.
So
Super
obviously,
size me.
Super size, the big dog. Obviously, each one sleeps a different amount of people, and some of them have bunks, some of them have singles, some of them have queen. You know, like there is a lot of different stuff going on. So it's a lot. But we're chugging along on it pretty good, and I feel like we're in a good spot for it. The laser has been a slow grind. We're doing brag boards right now.
Can you get a better laser?
Probably. I just don't know if it changes much, to be quite honest.
Sure. I think in general, like, the little I know about it, but I feel like it's just kind of a slow process either way.
Yeah, in these brag boards, like, obviously we want to be able to write down every guest name that's in a single cabin. So, we have some that are only 4-person cabins. We have some that are 10-person cabins. So there's different sizes, and the 4-person brag board just took me 4.5 hours to laser engrave.
Yikes.
And I have this pile of different stuff. I got more ashtrays. I got picture frames.
Speaking of ashtray,
we need an ashtray.
just
out
a
here.
quick little quidbit.
Quibit?
You said you're gonna make one.
Mm-hmm.
I have yet to see a logo for it. I might go down to old Gidgie's and have her just make me a sweatshirt.
Oh, okay.
Well, Mr. Embroidery over here. That was something we were supposed to talk about, I think, last week, and we didn't get around to it. But
we were talking about getting an embroidery machine. I don't know if it'll happen yet.
sure, but I don't. Well, you said your wife could do it too.
We can do screen print. No, we can do iron on vinyl.
When are you gonna have time for it?
I could do that whenever. Get me a sweatshirt and I'll get it on.
I don't want to add any more to your plate.
Well, why don't you come out and do it then, Ty?
I'll just go down to Gidget's.
Okay. Whatever. We'll just outsource.
I'll get you one too.
All right. Well, we did bring the Cricut out, and we're cutting a bunch of vinyl now too.
Okay.
So that's kind of something that another learning curve, just trying to learn another program and another.
Did we talk about the stickers last week that we tried to put on the frickin' trailer?
No, but that was a disaster too.
Oh my god. Okay, so we're trying to put stickers on the trailer, and
Did we talk about this?
we did
I think
actually
we did.
because
We
we
might
talked
have.
about Mike having.
Yes. Okay.
So, where are we standing on that?
Well, he got all of the big ones on.
He did.
Yeah, except we didn't have enough because we had to scrap so many of them.
We only scrapped 3, didn't we?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
That's not bad.
Not great.
No. So you think I think we have one extra. We had enough stickers to do 3 trailers, or 1 on each side of 3 trailers, so 6 total. We scrapped 3. We got 2 to stick. So I think we have 1 random one now, and I think that one's gonna go on the pontoon.
I feel kind of bad. Because
Yeah,
the times
you feel
that
dumb now.
the times that I came out there, the couple times, it's like
All we did was fuck shit up.
I feel like I didn't actually do anything
No, we feel
of
that
value.
Oh, you clean leather patches, buddy.
And I did suggest I was the one who looked up on YouTube how
you
to
did
properly
find
do
the
it.
successful
And then I
method,
explained to Andy,
and he did it.
and he did give me shit for YouTubing it, and then he did it the way.
And he copied you. Yeah.
Oh, now I got
Bastard.
beef. I got a beef with Andy now.
Bastard.
No.
What is with it? These people, they just give you grief for finding an idea, and then they steal your idea.
And then they do it.
Yeah, the freaking. It's not really a copycat, but it's like a idea thief.
Yeah, because they make you feel bad about having said idea.
Unbelievable.
And then they use it anyways.
Unbelievable.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, no, it's been a grind out there. I mean, like I said, I literally haven't even been to the meat market for a week and a half now.
No.
I've just been full on out at the shop, just grinding. and there is that much stuff to do. So it's one of those things. I think we're making progress. I don't know where we're gonna fall until we get there.
Yeah, none of us miss you either at the meat market.
I believe that.
No, it's fine. You just keep doing your thing.
No, it's fine. You call me like 3 times a day saying I miss you.
I
miss you. Where are you?
It's like once a day. Actually, I have called you a couple times and just been like, I'm on my lunch break and I'm just bored. I'm like, what are you doing?
Hey buddy.
Yeah. Because normally, like, we would take our lunch breaks kind of at the same time.
Are you mad at me? I haven't talked to you in like 36 hours.
Normally, we'd take our lunch breaks at the same time, and we'd, like, either mess with podcast stuff or mess with, like, social media stuff and just kind of kicks it. And then we would just have the day-to-day, like, jargon. And now it's like I hardly even know who you are anymore.
Maybe we just need to, like, FaceTime all day.
We could do that.
Each other around.
I'll just get like an arm that like straps to my torso.
They make those like chest mounts that hold the phone right out in front of you.
Perfect. I can't see that getting in the way of the meat market at all.
You're stuffing burger.
No. Good Lord.
Oh shit. No, I know. It's been crazy.
Yeah. Life starts to kind of get at you a little bit.
Yeah, especially when you're on a deadline.
Yeah, right. You got shit to do at a certain time. Going out of Canada, coming back here to Minnesota with your boy, because you're still here, even though you're going to be leaving. We talked about this last week after the podcast.
Do you guys see the little subtle jab there?
No, I don't think... No, not at all. No. Not at all. I don't think so.
Maybe I'm just sensitive.
It must be you.
Yeah, that's totally what it is.
I got sad last week because we were sitting behind where we normally sit at the table here, and I look over and I said, God damn it, in like 2 months I'm going to be the only one sitting at this table talking to a screen.
Yeah.
So we have some somber moments, and I'm sure it's going to get worse as it goes. But that's just all I wanted to say about it. I want to talk about whiskey now.
Yeah, let's stop with the sad talk.
No. Yeah, I had 30-second segment of it.
No.
30-second segment of it.
Whiskey. 4 Roses. Single barrel.
Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. All right, what do we got? What do we got here?
I am a
Distilled and
huge...
aged by 4 Roses Distillery LLC, Lawrenceburg, Kentucky.
I am a huge 4 Roses guy.
This is 750 milliliters, as normal. 50% alcohol by volume. Warehouse number...
100 proof.
V as in Venice.
Wait, did you say 45 or 50?
50.
50. 100 proof. I was right.
Warehouse number VE. And this is actually handwritten in pen, which is actually...
It's pretty neat.
Pretty legit.
That's what I'm
like,
saying,
I can respect that for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
This is barrel number 38-1B. So this is some guy's handwriting on here. Or gal. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, could be a gal.
The bottle actually has a picture or an engraving of 4 Roses in it. Up top here we got a little like leather insert around the neck that says Kentucky Straight Bourbon. And we actually have a tag, which I can appreciate a tag.
There's just like, for the price of this bottle, the amount of stuff that they decided to do that is unique as far as extra. Handwritten, tag, leather satchel thing around the neck of the bottle, like...
It's a nice cardstock tag, too. Like, I thought about reading it, but to be honest, it's like...
He doesn't know how to read.
I can't read.
I can't read,
but
Danny.
I can drink. I'm going to go ahead and give myself a little pour.
Yeah.
Max actually poured himself some.
I poured me a heavy one on the last one.
And he didn't give me any, but it's fine.
I didn't know you were empty over there. You've been drinking other stuff.
Yeah, I didn't want to finish it before we got to the taste.
That's true.
Oh,
fumble.
Actually, the cork is kind of cool.
Cork is cool.
I just want to talk about that for a second because it's actually like an inset cork. So when you stick it in,
there's like a walnut outer thing that goes over top of the glass, but the cork goes in the glass. It's kind of sick.
And the cork goes into the actual lid itself, so you only see like a 1/4 inch of the cork, and you stick it on, but you still got that full cork. That's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
Four Roses is pretty impressive. My brother actually turned me on to it. He bought me a bottle of their small batch for Christmas one year, and I've been obsessed with it. And I've been kind of just grabbing bottles as I see them. It's pretty damn good.
It's very smooth, very kind of, I think it's citrusy in the middle, and then almost sweet at the end.
It's not spicy for 100 proof. We've actually had lower proof bottles that have tasted
way spicier.
Way spicier.
Mm-hmm. Why is it spicy?
Why so spicy? What are you picking up?
So definitely the
citrus
citrus in the middle.
Yeah.
Initial taste on the tongue is kind of a sweet cherry, I think. I like that sniff reel there. This is ASMR shit right here. 4 Roses.
Get your bottle today. Bottle.
What are you picking up?
It's not super complex. Like there's some drinks that confuse the heck out of me.
I pick up that sweet cherry.
Yep.
Goes into kind of a citrus. Little spicy bitter at the end.
Yeah. It tastes simple, but it's very, very good.
Yeah. There's not a ton of like bursting flavors to where you're like, I can't really pick up on it.
Yeah, and there's not too much going on to where it's confusing.
No.
Because I've had that where it's just like...
Yeah. It's going in too many directions.
It's good. And for the price point, this is a hard one for me to beat. I know you got your favorites at this price point too.
Mm-hmm. What did you pay for the bottle?
$40.
$40, okay. So that's a little higher than my normal bottle, I guess, by like $10.
But for a single barrel?
Yeah, no, it's not bad. I'm paying
the small batch stuff falls
yeah.
around like I think their low $30 price point if I remember right. And then their single barrel is kind of just a notch above it.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have their single barrel store pick, way as it progresses up the price line. I've only had their small batch and their single barrel, but I've been really, really impressed with both of them.
This is a smooth, good whiskey.
It's very good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go into Breaking Bourbon's assessment.
Mm-hmm.
On the nose, a bouquet of soft scents consisting of cork, raisin, vanilla, and picked flowers. I don't know if I'm sniffing a garden when I'm smelling it, but
actually,
there's some floral notes.
The undertone, so like the initial smell, you're like whiskey, and then you give it a good sniff, and that's definitely that bouquet of flowers.
Okay. This is funny because small amount of alcohol is detected upon first whiff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally exactly what you said. You're getting good at this. It's nice, but incredibly subtle. It just is. It's nice. Palate. Spice, honey, peaches, brown sugar.
Yep, I'm picking that up.
And a light oak. The palate isn't as deep as much as immediate. Since you catch a lot of flavors at once, it coats your tongue, ensuring you get a healthy dose of flavor with each sip, but nothing too complex. It truly is a delicious tasting bourbon that makes me want to continuously go back and drink more.
Fair enough.
The finish is long, lingering, but not overly spicy. In fact, it's the exact opposite of spice effect on the palate. You're greeted with spice up front, quickly followed by a blast of flavors. With the finish, you initially are greeted by very little spice, and is slowly filled with delicious heat over a minute or two. It dissipates, and then it's layered with leather, old wood, mint, raisins, and cherries. along with vanilla-coated peaches. Maybe the peaches are what you're picking up from that, the old citrusy fruit.
That could be.
I know it's not really a citrus fruit, but... It's funny because...
Once you say it, then you can pick it up.
I know, and that's why I like reading these things. 'Cause I'm like, oh, I feel like I'm learning as we do these.
Because 100% after you said peaches, I'm like, oh, yeah, no, there it is. That's exactly what I was picking up.
Yep. So the funny thing is this is my favorite bourbon. I like the small batch. Or the small batch. I mix it with Lipton Diet Peach Tea.
No shit, huh?
And it's so freaking good. Because, like, the redneck in me likes my little peach tea, like, put it in a plastic cup, and, you know, Cy Robertson it style, old Duck Dynasty. Sinner. And I freaking love this with, you pour a whole bottle of peach tea into a glass, and you throw, you know, a finger of this in with it.
Well, there's a 2-finger rule in my household, but that's fine.
Jeez. Sheesh.
1 finger ain't cutting it.
You done some damage, huh?
No, that 4 Roses, single barrel, $40 price point. Go ahead and pick yourself up a bottle, give it a whirl. Let us know what you guys think about it. See if you like it, if you hate it. Either way.
I think you'll like this one.
Yeah, I think it's a good bottle.
I've been highly impressed with their stuff.
Last week's bottle we were both pretty meh about. So this week's bottle's a little bit better.
I would put this 10 tiers above our old Lazy River.
Oh, yeah. I shouldn't have said a little bit better. You're right. I said a little bit better.
Don't insult these guys.
I didn't mean to say a little bit better.
Glass.
So yeah, pick yourself up a bottle. I'm pretty sure you can find it just about everywhere. And
see, that's what I like about 4 Roses too. Kind of underrated, readily available to literally anybody. Yeah. You can find stock, small batch, and probably single barrel almost at any liquor store.
Yeah, and there's something to be said to go check your local Sam's Club.
Sneaky link.
Oh.
Sam's Club is mad underrated.
Dude, I find some bottles there. I just picked myself up another bottle of 1792 that we reviewed like 3 weeks back, I want to say. Yep. And I picked it up for $26 again.
Highway robbery.
I just seen it in another liquor store over in Waseca, and it was like $38.
Don't you feel bad? Quit stealing from Sam's Club like that, dude.
No, I don't feel bad at all. I pay plenty.
Yeah, no, it is. Like
the fact that there's that big of a difference, you just know. You're like, well, what are you actually being charged to get these bottles?
Well, right.
Working in retail my whole life, you kind of figure that shit out. You're like, okay, so your margin is
you start
high.
To understand margins a little bit.
You're like, okay, but...
And I get your small shops need to make money. I'm all about supporting small shops.
Yeah, we're all small shops.
Go to your small shop.
I do.
Yeah, I'd rather spend the $5 extra, but at the same time, when you can get a steal like that, sometimes you can't pass it up. So it just is. It is what it is.
No, like I'll shop at Sam's Club usually for my bottles of whiskey, see what they got, and then I'll occasionally buy my beer there. Sorry, Sarah and Andy. But
I'm going to hear that next week.
That's okay.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure it is.
It's fine.
I'll hear it.
No, it's fine. I'll come in. They can tell me. No, but I do generally go uptown here and get my case of beer.
So that's the thing that I was going to say, too, is like there are times where your small mom and pop's liquor store gets those allocated bottles. And there's not a lot of people looking for them in some of these small little shops.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when Buffalo Trace hit uptown here,
mm-hmm.
Guess who bought them? Pretty sure you and I bought those out.
Where's your dash?
It was us. And sometimes those small mom and pop shops are the only places that can get some of those allocated bottles.
I feel like that's kind of on purpose too.
I think so too.
Yeah, like these big companies are like,
oh yeah, fuck you, MGM.
yeah, they're like, God damn it, you're selling them too quickly, and it's kind of fun watching these people scramble for them.
Yeah, and like I think that's part of the chase too. Mm-hmm. Like, no, you can't just go to your standard liquor store, your big box liquor,
right,
and find these things anymore. Now you have to actually search for them.
Which, big shout out to Ben that we graduated with.
Yeah,
old Shuley. He
shout out Ben if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, man, you make us look bad. Seriously.
Is he a snob?
He's not a snob. He's really good at finding bottles. And he's constantly like sending bottles. And in his living room, he has a whole shelf full of like really good whiskeys.
Well, Ben, sponsor our podcast.
Like I was actually really impressed last time I was out there. He was showing me all of them, and I tried like 8 different whiskeys, which after like 2 you're pretty much tasting the same thing. But
dude, you're supposed to ginger swab, clean your palate.
We didn't have that.
Oh, come on.
I know it should have, but no,
he's
Ben,
definitely not a snob yet.
He definitely has a really good collection, and I think he was, as far as like whiskey drinkers go, I think he probably was one of the first in that friend group.
Sure. Yeah.
That kind of like committed to the whiskey side of things.
Yeah.
To where like I was rum always.
Sure.
And I don't think you weren't always whiskey either. You
No,
were.
see, I liked my Canadian. I liked my Crown. I was big on Crown.
God, and I never ever touched Crown.
And then I switched to just like my Captain Mixies.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was beer. And then I was like, all right, like I kind of want to just dabble into something like slightly more sophisticated. Hate Scotch. Tequila drinkers are fucking weird. Psychopaths. Like if you're tasting tequila.
Yeah, no, I would agree there. I
breed.
can't go to like a tequila tasting.
No, mad respect. Because
I
wish I could. I like tequila. I'm not tasting tequila.
No, I have a couple that I like. Like, and actually now it's pretty much just Terramana. Like if I'm gonna drink it, that's gonna be what I'm drinking.
If I'm doing tequila, I'm doing Patron or I'm doing Terramana. They're good tequilas. I'm not tasting it.
I'm not taking shots. Don't you at me, you dick. No, the only reason is, well, okay, so I should redact that. I'll take a shot initially. But if I'm halfway through the night, I will not take a tequila shot.
Yeah.
Because it's guaranteed.
Yeah, maybe you're just more responsible than I am.
I'm going to black out, and I'm going to throw up in your lawn.
That's fair. That's fair.
And, like, I don't do rum anymore because it's too sweet. Whiskey ruined rum for me.
Sure.
But also, I like whiskey so much more than rum at this point.
Yeah.
Is it good for my heart? Probably
Maybe
not.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
A glass a day keeps the doctor away.
God, I wish that was a real thing because that would be really healthy.
See, the issue is we don't do a glass a day, Ty.
Speak for yourself.
No, we drink enough on a Wednesday night.
Well, that's true too. Yeah,
20 glasses a fucking week.
Yeah, last week was a testament to that. I'm not going to talk any more about that, and we're going to bury it. But
nope, gin is disgusting.
Oh, yeah.
Vodka, you're just not tasting vodka. So it's like the only drink that you fall on.
Vodka only belongs in a Bloody Mary and maybe a screwdriver or a screw up.
Yeah.
That's my opinion of it.
Yeah.
I think I used to drink more vodka. I mixed like a little more fruity drinks when I was in college.
Sure.
As we all do. But now I'm just like, no. Like, if I'm going to mix something, I'm going to have a whiskey ginger. I'm going to have an old fashioned. Or what we do on the podcast here is no ice.
Straight.
Pour it in a glass.
Fucking bourbon.
Drink like a man.
Whiskey.
But also, we tend to get ourselves in a little bit of trouble doing it that way. So we might start adding ice to the segment. But I doubt it. We got to keep this thing moving.
Keep her moving. We're
into this thing deep.
like 110 deep.
We're
We had
more
our
than
little,
that.
I don't know. We had our little dead battery segment there.
Yeah, we lost some battery, so
didn't
there
talk
is going to
about
be there's going to be a little piece together
Yeah,
here.
that cut line is definitely a dead battery there.
Yeah,
We are hardwired now.
we were running on battery, think we could do it. We were just testing our system, to be quite honest with you. Gear of the week. Let's get into it. You were telling me tonight about the Precision Trolling app. What are we talking about here?
Okay. If you guys do any trolling, you know the issue of guessing your depth, and it sucks.
Give me a little backstory on trolling. So we're dragging line behind a boat.
Yep. So a lot of times you're running multiple lines.
Yep.
You know, Minnesota's weird. You can only run one line per person. But say you have 3-4 people in a boat, you're running 4 lines behind the boat. You're trolling. There's a lot of times that's more efficient than just casting, bottom bouncing, all of that jazz. You're just moving. You're trying to find fish. You know they're in a depth line, and you just want to run that line, and you want to see if you run into some fish. There is a little bit of a guessing game with that. Say you're running a crankbait behind the boat. You need to know exactly how much line you have out. You need to know exactly how deep you're running. Because sometimes what happens is you're running a little too deep. You're burying that sucker into weeds. You're burying that sucker into rocks. There is nothing worse than having that rod bend or that planer board go off, and all it is a snag, or all it is weeds. Or you're too high. You're just skipping over all the fish. You're trolling into nothingness.
Yep.
Because you're just missing them.
So this app actually shows you your trolling bait, right? It shows you individual baits and how you should actually run them.
So the crazy thing with this is the creators of this app have taken almost every bait that you could possibly consider trolling and have put them into this drop-down menu to where you can scroll through and you can say, hey, I'm running a Berkeley Flicker Minnow 9. And I can say, hey, I expect the fish to be in the 12-foot range. Or I know the fish are in the 12-foot range. Or the fish are staging pre-spawn and they're in 12 to 14 and I want to run 12-foot. Or I know I have a deep weed line that cuts off at 12 feet. You can go through this app and you can select the depth that you want to run that bait. A Flicker Minnow 9, 12 feet deep, and it tells you exactly how far back from the boat that bait should run to hit 12 feet. That's nuts.
It's absolutely. We talked about it, and I was blown away by it.
So the fact that they were able to go through there's thousands of baits on here. I'm a big Berkeley guy. I'm biased. I'm brand orientated. Mm-hmm. If you were running Rapala or if you were running Depths or if you were running whatever brand.
You're a BH.
Yeah. I don't know what that means. Butthurt?
No, BW, sorry.
Brand whore?
Brand whore.
I'm a brand whore.
Yep.
You're butthurt if you ain't running Berkeley, and I'm a BH. Did you blow that out your nose?
Yeah, I did. I schnozzed.
So the cool thing is they run this, and they base it off of 10-pound Berkeley monofilament. So in a perfect world, everybody's running 10-pound Berkeley monofilament. That's what I run my trolling lines with. And obviously line weight and line type play a role in depth. So I actually chose to run 10-pound Berkeley monofilament because that's what this app is based off of. which allows me to be significantly more accurate with my trolling depth. Now, the crazy thing about that is you can run your line counter out to the exact depth that they recommend for whatever feet depth that you want to run. So if you know, like I said, you have a weed line that's 12 feet deep, you want to run at 11, you slide your scroller down to 11, guess what it tells you?
Where you're supposed to be at.
You run your line counter
Behind
out
the
to
bolt.
64 feet,
Yep.
and you're on the money with that Flicker Shad 9.
So now, just for the people who don't know, when you're saying line counter.
Yep. So, in a trolling scenario, in a perfect world, you're running a bait cast reel that has that little line counter in the upper right corner of the reel.
So they all don't.
Nope. So, some of your bait casters are your standard cast and reel style bait casters. These ones are designed for this trolling purpose. And as you release the bail, it counts off how many feet have spooled off of the spool. So when you hit, say, 64 feet off of your spool, you know that Flicker Shad, number 6, is 11 feet deep.
Sure.
Otherwise, you're playing a guessing game, right? Like, you kind of know, like, okay, the lip size and the size of the crankbait, whatever, dives to this depth. But all of that changes based on the amount of line out. There's a lot of geometry that comes into play there. There's a lot of guessing game that's like, okay, like, I put this out, I'm not catching anything, maybe I need to run more line out, maybe I'm snagging grass, maybe I need to have less line out. It just takes all of the guessing game out of how deep your trolling bait is running.
Okay.
Which is crazy. It makes you significantly more efficient. It has a couple different line scenarios. Like I said, mostly everything is based off a 10-pound monofilament line. If you're running braid, which I don't really like to do, in my opinion, with a treble hook bait, braid is too non-forgiving. It's really easy to throw a hook or, bend a hook straight on braid. You don't have much flex. You don't have much give in it. But they do have 10-pound braid on here. Mm-hmm. So that's an option also. Now, that being said, braid floats. So braid will run your bait shallower because it floats. The more braid you have out, the more flotation that you have, which
You're higher in the water column.
Exactly.
Yep.
So if you want to run a certain depth, you may have to run more line out to get it down deeper.
I wonder what the calculation is on that, braid versus your monofilament.
Well, yeah, is it a standard like 1.8 to 1?
Right.
I would be curious to see that.
Because at this point, and this is where I was impressed by it, like, we're talking just straight up science at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And geometry at the same time.
Yeah, we're talking a lot of science, a lot of math.
Yeah.
We're talking buoyancy, we're talking angle of triangles, basically, when you're talking about, like, hypotenuse to...
Yeah.
It's crazy.
It's super cool that you're simplifying it for the average fisherman or the best of the best. But you can run your troll lines behind you. You do your calculation. Now, if you don't have the line counter,
Yep.
how do you figure this?
So, it's a lot of trial and error, which is where it becomes so valuable because you're wasting so much less time. In my opinion, I would rather run too much line first. I would rather see my bait dig into the ground, weeds, rock, whatever, to know how deep I'm running. So, in my opinion, I would rather run too much, find out that I'm running too deep, because that's really the only way that you find out what you're doing. If you're too shallow, you just run too shallow. You never find any information out because you don't get a response.
Yep.
Right? Say
you're just dragging a line behind you that's doing
Say
nothing.
you're in 12 feet of water and you're dragging an 8. All you do is you just get the traditional response of that bait's running in 8 feet of water. Well, if the fish aren't there, they're not going to bite. If the weeds, rocks, bottom aren't there, you're not going to get a response. So I would rather find out the hard way and lose a flicker shad dug into a rock or dug into the weeds and say, okay, 70 feet was too far out. Well, now maybe I'm going to run 60 feet. And I'm going to run 60 feet and see if I pick up some weeds here.
Yep.
And if I'm not, I know I'm running on top of the weeds.
So you trolling with your trolling motor at this point when you're running these scenarios? So you're trolling full speed? Or are you talking, you got your engine running, you're dragging behind you? What type of scenario?
There's a couple different ways that you can run it. A lot of times when you're trolling for walleyes, you're using your tiller handle, and you may steer either with your tiller or with your trolling motor.
Sure.
So that's something, you can use the trolling motor direction to actually steer, or you can hand steer it. Anybody with a kicker motor, most of the times they're setting that at 1 mile an hour, 1.5, 2, whatever you're choosing to troll at for a speed, depending on the aggression of the fish. And you're using your trolling motor to actually steer. Your trolling motor is not doing the propulsion, but it's doing the steering.
Sure.
A lot of times what I would do, unless they're very, very stagnant, is I would use the tiller handle just to troll at a low speed. If they are very, very finicky, I may do it off of the trolling motor and control my speeds a little bit more fine-tuned.
Right, yeah, because they're gonna be picky to that commotion that you're creating, and so...
And with a trolling motor, you can run at a lower speed than you can run at your tiller. Right. So, if you're trolling at 1.5 miles, 2 miles an hour, you can run that off your tiller, no problem.
Can you still run the troll lines that way, though?
Absolutely.
Is that enough force behind the boat?
Yep. They'll dig all the same. A lot of times, there's a certain speed that requires them to get down to a certain depth.
That was what I was going to ask next, is is there a speed line to make sure your calculations are actually right?
So from my experience, as long as you're trolling faster than 0.5 mile an hour, it's going to get down to the same depth. And if you're trolling less than that, you might as well just be casting.
So being it's Gear of the Week and it's the Precision Trolling app, does the app mitigate for a certain speed?
No. So essentially, if you're trolling anywhere between 0.5 mile to 3 miles an hour, it's going to correlate all the same. If you're trolling any less than that, there's really no reason to be trolling.
Sure.
At that
what
point,
if you're doing more than that?
Any more than that, I think it's too fast. You're not going to get a response out of your fish. You're going to blow right past your fish.
Sure.
So, in my opinion, if you're over 2 miles an hour, you're probably blowing past the fish.
Okay.
You might catch an aggressive pike or something like that. That might catch up to it. But if you're trolling for walleyes, I think anywhere between your 0.5 mile to your 1.5 miles is going to be kind of your typical speeds.
Is this a more walleye based app, or is it?
So that's the thing, is it can apply to anything.
Sure.
Because if you're trolling any of these baits, you're bound to come across your bass, your pike.
That's what I was going to ask, because are you catching bass too?
You're going to get into them.
Because that's usually where there's a big difference, is you're catching walleye and pike, or you're shooting for bass.
Yep. And I think that's the thing too, is when you're trolling, you're just trying to get in front of fish.
Yep.
Right? If that's the most efficient way to get in front of fish, and your walleyes are in a depth range, there's nothing to say that there's not other fish in that depth range, right? That's the same way of anything, right?
Yeah.
You're casting for bass and there's pike in that same weed line.
Right.
You're pitching to a mark on forward facing, and it could be a catfish, it could be a bass. they're probably going to hit very similar things. They're eating very similar forage at the end of the day.
Well, they're fish.
Correct. And like at the end of the day, you're replicating a minnow bait.
Yeah.
Every fish in that lake is eating minnow baits except your panfish. So you run into
you might still catch a fucking crappie on that.
Right. I mean, we were catching crappies on chatterbaits.
Yeah.
You know, so like at the end of the day, you know, you can do your best to bias a certain species, but there's going to be overlap to that. Now, I will say if you're biasing pike, you can pick some of your bigger crankbaits in the app. There's so many crankbaits in that app. If you have a larger plug and you find that in the app, you can bias pike on this. At the same time, I feel like most people are using it for walleye.
Sure. So one more time, it's Precision Trolling app, right?
Yep.
That's the name of it.
Yep.
Download
It's on all of the app stores.
Perfect.
And
we're not sponsored by it.
No.
We don't have a sponsorship through it. We don't have nothing. It's just a really good app.
It is. It's amazing. It blew my mind what they have went out to do as far as the amount of baits that they do and the amount of information that they provide per bait. There is a little paywall. I think you can do a monthly payment of certain amount to achieve certain amount of baits. I just paid for the lifetime. And I think I paid $129 for an entire lifetime of their entire database.
Oh, which at the end of the day, I guess at that point isn't even really that bad.
No, because if you think about if it's $9.99 or $19.99 a month or whatever for X amount of information provided, you pay that in a year anyways.
Well, and you have enough information there to where you're mitigating your own time at that point. So instead of going out there and just trying it and trying it again and trying it again and trying it again until you get it right, this is just kind of mitigating it for you.
It's an efficiency thing.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, like we always talk about being more efficient as fishermen, whether you're using your electronics, whether you're using your apps, whether you're using information that's provided to you by someone else who did the legwork.
Right.
It doesn't matter. Because if you can stop wasting time and do something more efficiently, it's beneficial to you.
Yep. And if you're out there just bullshitting and you're just dragging the line behind you, you don't need the app. That's fine too. You know, we're never gonna put you down for that because we've all been there, done that. And
I've spent so many times where I've like, okay, well, we're gonna run to this other spot, and we might as well drop a couple lines behind us and just see if something happens.
See if something bites it, and that's fine too.
Yeah.
But if you're looking to, you know, just know how to properly do it, and you don't know how to start, this is the perfect app for it because I'm not real versed in the trolling aspect of things because I just don't troll. I'm a flick and cast.
Yep. Running
flick
gun.
And pull, flick and pull, flick and pull, flick and pull.
Yep.
Because I like to be active in my fishing, and that's the same with ice fishing. And so, as far as my knowledge of trolling goes, is pretty much with my wife's cousins, who are avid fishermen who really have done it their whole lives.
Yep.
And have done every form of it and have actually taught me quite a few things. But that being said, it's like I would have never known some of this information without them, without you.
Yeah, well, exactly.
You know,
like if that's
and
not
this app.
If that's not your preferred way of fishing, you're not actively learning it.
No.
So then when the time comes that that's the efficient way to fish,
yep,
or maybe,
and it's all lake based,
correct, and or situation based, God forbid that's the only way that they're biting, which will happen. I will tell you that you will, if you are a cast and jig and bottom bounce type of person, there is going to be a time where you cannot buy a bite.
No. And
they may be biting on trolling.
I've been on so many lakes now in this state because, so each year, my wife and her family actually puts on a reunion every year for a week.
Sure.
And every year we go to a different resort here in Minnesota. Some year, like there's times where there's 2 in a row at like the same resort,
Sure.
same lake. But I have learned so much about fishing from just going to these different lakes and being able to just kind of pick them apart, and being that most of Danielle's family are like avid fishermen, and like I would honest to God say a couple of them could be pros.
Yeah.
And then they're so open to giving you that knowledge. So I've learned so much about fishing through a lot of them too, to where it's like, whoa, I didn't even know this was a thing.
Well, and there's a reason that these people who are so skilled troll.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, even if you
100%.
have the skill set to
Pick them
catch
off.
them on a jig
Yep.
in plastic or a rip and wrap or whatever, there is still that time where trolling is just more efficient.
We spent a whole day on the lake we were at last year. I don't even remember what lake it was, but it was a very unique lake in everything about it. And we trolled 90% of the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we were catching fish.
Well, and see, too, like, if we're talking a new lake, what's the most efficient way to break down a new lake? You move through it.
Yep. And see where you're catching them.
Yeah. And you can do that very, very quickly and very, very efficiently while trolling.
Yep.
You know, if you think they're in 12 feet, you run 12 feet. If you don't get a bite in 12 feet, you move out to 15 feet. And you can do that extremely simple with this app. It's just neat. It's cool.
It's fun. There's so many different ways to fish. And I think that's why you and I just connect so well, is because we love them all.
Yep.
And me personally, I'm specific to ice fishing, but also I appreciate how much fun it is to go do this other stuff as well. So, honest to God, in the last probably 3 years, I've gone from an ice fisherman to
Just a fisherman.
just a fisherman, because I couldn't have cared less about 3 years ago about summer fishing, and I think that's an age thing too.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, if I'm on a boat, I'm trying to party.
Sure.
You know, like I'm going to the lake, I'm gonna hang out, I'm gonna drink a bunch of beer, and now I'm like, no, I actually just want to see what the fish are doing.
Yeah. You know what you like now. You know what,
Yeah.
like, you know where your passion lies. And, like, exploring different avenues to kind of accomplish the same passion it's equally as fulfilling, even if you like one over the other.
Right.
Trolling is not my favorite thing.
No.
But at the end of the day, like, I know catching fish makes me happy.
Right.
And if that's the way to catch fish, I'm
You
going
gotta
to
do it
troll.
up. Yeah. Yep.
You know, so it just is what it is. At the end of the day, we're kind of learning how to expand upon what we love. And I think that's the most important thing behind it.
I think so too. I think you got to find what makes you happy. Keep fishing. Keep your lines tight. Doesn't matter how you're doing it, where you're doing it. So if you're looking for that app, again, it's Precision Trolling app. It's on all the platforms. Download it. Give it a try. See what you think of it. If you do use it, let us know. Like I said, we're not sponsored by it or anything. It's just that's the gear of the week for us.
I'm just a big fan. I think it was a
Yep.
useful thing that some people could save some frustration with.
We are dwindling kind of to the end of our timeline
Yep.
here.
Yep. I think we briefly talk about what the fishing's been like lately. Like I said, neither of us have been out since the last time we've been out. I've looked at a couple lakes. Water temp is low. I will say Green Bay is smashing right now.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Green Bay is hitting walleyes like it's their business to do so right
It's
now.
absolutely nuts. I got a buddy who was out there. He caught 40 fish over 27 in one night. That's bonkers.
They're not still ice fishing out there.
No, it's open water.
Okay.
Yeah.
You said one night, and I'm like, wait.
No,
holy shit.
They're trolling through the night, and they are smashing.
Jeepers.
They're doubling up on 27 plus like it's nobody's business. It's bonkers.
God damn it, I want that.
I know. And I know some of the Mississippi is smashing as well, but I'm just sitting here thinking, like, fuck, if my boat would come, I'm taking a weekend over to Green Bay. You can run 2 lines per person. We could get on that boat. We could troll 4 lines. And they're crushing.
When's the boat coming?
I hope it's next week.
Fine. Then we're going.
Let's do it. Also, I was out to a local lake. Bullheads are spawning like no other. They're smashed up in the reeds, about as thick as can be. You could scoop them with a friggin' net.
Perfect. So if you're looking for some bullheads, they're spawning.
If you're looking for catfish bait, the bullheads are spawning.
There you go. In the southern MN area, the bullheads are doing their thing.
They're on their grind.
Yeah. I think we're going to wrap it up tonight, ladies and germs.
Germs?
I said it. I did it.
Gentlemen or germs?
I think that's a quote from, the hell's that movie with the blue guy? You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Nah. Well, I'll look it up and let you guys know. Bill Murray's in it.
Huh. I don't know what you're talking about.
Doesn't matter.
Regardless, ladies and germs.
Ladies and germs,
we
bid
are
you adieu.
Out.
Thank you guys for tuning in once again. This is the 7th episode. We're still working out the kinks, but goddamn it, we're still here. And if you got anything to say, let us know. We love you for listening, and we will see you guys next week. Thank you so much. Ty's out.
Max is out. We love you. We appreciate you. Catch you on the flip.
Have a good night.
Peace out, Cub Scouts.